Hello everyone, this is Baby and welcome to Cyberpunk 2077. We're gonna be doing a rebuild of an old sniper build that I did a couple of years ago. The idea is to deal large bursts of damage, ideally one-shotting most enemies, thanks to the sniper rifles that I'll be recommending, and at the same time, utilize quick hacks to deliver debuffs to our enemies and to overall complement our sniping. For our starter, put 1 point to everything, then max out intelligence. Our primary attributes for this build are intelligence and cool. We have 4 on body to be able to pick up some health regen perks, 4 on reflexes for some quality of life perks like reload sprinting and shoot sprinting, 4 on cool to head start sniping perks. There's some mitigation boost in there as well. 4 on tech to give ourselves health item bonuses. And then 6 on intelligence to pretty much rush the perks here up to at least 15 during the mid game, and then eventually 20 in the end game. These are all important factors to push through the early game. You're a net runner first before a sniper, due to the lack of obtainable sniper rifles during the early game. Once we get comfortable with our setup, we can simply refund perk points and reassign them wherever necessary. For my recommended attributes distribution, you want to focus on intelligence, and since it's a hybrid build, we want to get it up to at least 15 so that we can immediately focus on our next primary attribute, which is cool. For this attribute, we will pretty much grab any perks here that will help us with our gunplay. During the early game, we will be utilizing combat and control quick hacks for now, and as we progress through the game, we will slowly focus primarily on control quick hacks with the occasional combat quick hacking when in specific situations. Then of course, we move to focus on cool by bringing it up to 15 and grabbing the perks here that will give us buffs when handling sniper rifles. The 2 abilities that we're after here are Focus and Deadeye. We'll be talking about these perks later in the video. After focusing on our primary attributes, we then put points on technical ability up to 15 for different reasons. 1 is so that we can improve our health item usage. 2nd, there are powerful sniper rifles in the game that are tech weapons, so we will be grabbing perks here that will improve those guns even further. And then 3rd is so that we can pretty much enjoy the various benefits that this attribute will provide when it comes to cyberware. We'll be installing a number of cyberware for this build, and investing points into technical ability is definitely a no-brainer. Then we move reflexes to 9 so that we can grab dash. That's it. It's a very useful movement-related ability that I personally cannot live without. And as we move to the end game, we now finally max out intelligence and cool to be able to grab these wonderful capstone perks that will push our net running sniping capabilities even further. Again, we'll be going through them later in the video. If you have the Phantom Liberty expansion, you get 10 more levels, which means 10 more attribute points to spend. So let's max out technical ability mainly to get Edge Runner. We'll be needing this perk as we will be using some crazy powerful cyberware that takes up a huge space to our cyberware capacity, and then dump our remaining points on reflexes to pretty much unlock air dashing. For the level 50 setup, we will primarily be using sniper rifles to pick some heads off, complementing that with control quick hacks to make our easy pickings a lot more convenient. And at level 60, we'll be pushing our power scaling even further by obtaining Edge Runner from technical ability, grabbing more perks from our primary attributes, and installing Dogtown exclusive cyberware. Again, you need to have the Phantom Liberty expansion to be able to get some of the good stuff beyond level 50. Now, let's move on to perks. Since patch 2.0, the game got a total overhaul in the perks department. When it comes to quick hacking, no more we get to perform breach protocol to debuff our enemies' resistances, reduce quick hack costs, and more. Now, we get a seamless flow in combat as we don't need to stop and pre-phase every encounter with breach. Instead, we queue quick hacks to the enemies, and all unique and special effects that go with quick hacking will come from perks, from the queuing mechanic itself, and from the quick hacks themselves. Another thing to keep in mind is that since this is a hybrid build, our method of eliminating enemies is always with our sniper rifles, so we won't be grabbing perks that would improve combat quick hack damage and perks that would give benefits to unused quick hacks in a queue. So for intelligence perks, starting over here on the left tree, we get to develop the queuing mechanic. Take the first perk here at the bottom, Eye in the Sky, so that we can take Hack Queue, which unlocks quick hack queues where it will allow us to upload up to 2 quick hacks on an enemy and eventually enable a cavalcade of queuing benefits later down the line. And immediately after maxing this out, we get an added quick hack upload speed bonus of 30% for the second quick hack in a queue. And surrounding this perk, we'll take counter a hack and copy paste to give ourselves some defensive measures against enemy netrunners. When an enemy netrunner is currently uploading a quick hack on you, you can then upload your own quick hacks on them through walls and obstacles, and when you counter them with your own quick hack, that quick hack will spread to the enemy netrunner's allies. Moving up the tree, we'll max out queue acceleration to add another queue size. Now we can upload up to 3 quick hacks, and as an added bonus, we get another quick hack upload speed boost for the third or later in the queue. Improving the perk further is queue prioritization, in which the first quick hack in at least a 2 quick hack queue will get a quick hack upload speed boost of 50%. And then by taking the capstone perk queue mastery, we maximize queue size to 4 with a 15% damage boost against enemies with a locked queue. Locked queue meaning that 4 quick hacks have been uploaded to an enemy, locking the queue as a result. To summarize this side of the tree when it comes to upload speed, let's say we upload 4 quick hacks to a target. The first quick hack will get a bonus 50% speed thanks to queue prioritization, then the second quick hack gets 30% from hack queue, and then the third and fourth quick hacks on the queue will get a bonus of 60% upload speed thanks to queue acceleration. Moving over here at the middle tree, we'll take optimization for the 35% RAM recovery rate and subordination for a huge 100% duration boost to our control quick hacks against full health enemies. Again, most of our quick hack usage is mostly control quick hacks, so this perk would be a big help for us. Max out Embedded Exploit to move up the tree, and while we're at it, grab Speculation and Shadow Runner. Shadow Runner would be very useful during stealth situations. Advancing through the tree, we'll grab Overclock, which is one of the essential perks that we need for the build. This perk maxed out unlocks the Overclock feature, in which we get to use our health to upload quick hacks after we run out of RAM. Has a duration of 14 seconds with a 30-second cooldown. Now that might sound a little dangerous as we are using health to upload quick hacks, especially ones that have big quick hack costs. So grab Sublimation to pretty much apply all RAM recovery bonuses to health regeneration, which will improve survivability during overclock. With maxed out intelligence, we'll be able to grab another capstone perk here, Spillover, in which when we have overclock active, we get a 50% chance for our quick hacks to spread to another enemy. We will be using a lot of control quick hacks, and having them spread to other enemies will totally help us with our gunplay. Speaking of gunplay, by developing the perks at the right tree, we'll be able to utilize smart weapons, specifically one smart sniper rifle called the Ashura. Now you might think that it's a lot of perk points specifically for a single gun, but it's totally worth investing into the tree here, mainly for the capstone perk in this path alone. Let's take Acquisition Specialist to prevent target locking from being interrupted. This will significantly help us as the Ashura sniper rifle holds only 1 bullet per mag, so we would be constantly reloading after every shot. We'll also grab precision subroutines to get additional accuracy bonus from using smart weapons. The Ashura fires only one shot per mag, so it's very essential to make every shot count. Since we took speculation from the middle tree, we will be able to grab recirculation, which will instantly restore 2 rams every time we eliminate an enemy with smart weapons. And in addition to that, if that enemy is affected by quick hacks, we restore 50% of the total ram spent with those quick hacks. And to move up to the capstone perk, we max out target lock transfer, which will give us a couple of quality of life capabilities when it comes to smart weapons. With Smart Synergy, when overclock is active, target locking is instant. The Ashura sniper rifle has over 1 second before locking onto a target. With this perk, we don't need to wait for the lock on to set before shooting. So be sure to clear the room with your Smart Sniper rifle before the overclock duration expires. And not to forget the additional 25% damage boost against an enemy affected by any quick hack. Really perfect for our mostly control quick hack setup. Moving over to the cool attribute, we improve our sniping capabilities with Focus and Deadeye, 2 important perks for sniper rifles. Through the use of these 2 perks, we enable additional damage, stamina conservation, and reload speed boosts, not to mention the capstone perk available after we max out the attribute. So over here on the left, let's grab Focus to improve stamina consumption while shooting with a sniper rifle. The way it works is that whenever we aim with a sniper rifle and while at full stamina, stamina locks up, and every time we shoot, we don't consume any stamina, so long as we stay aiming down the sights. When we exit the sights or the duration is up, which is 2.5 seconds, we eventually consume 40 stamina. The 10% headshot and weak spot damage bonus is a nice touch too. And to bypass the duration bit, we take head to head to constantly reset the duration of focus whenever we eliminate a target. Again, you need to stay aimed down while killing enemies to keep focus mode active. Moving further from head to head, you may take deep breath to give yourself a steadier aim by slowing down time by 25% for you and the enemies when focus is active. For more stamina conservation, we take No Sweat to reduce the actual stamina consumption after ending focus mode / exiting the aim. We get the stamina reduction for every kill while aiming down the sights. We then take Rinse and Reload to gain additional reload speed whenever we eliminate enemies while aiming. It stacks twice and the effect applies on your next reload for a limited time. Then moving up the tree, we'll take Deadeye. With 3 points to this perk, we get more headshot and weak spot damage boost and more stamina cost reduction for shooting. Similar to Focus, where we need full stamina for the buff to activate, Deadeye requires above 85% stamina. For this perk though, it is the only condition needed, so as long as we keep track of our stamina and take advantage of any stamina reduction bonuses from Focus, we'll also get to benefit from the different bonuses surrounding the perk. We get a special confirmation feedback that the perk used its bonuses by showing the damage number display with a unique yellow text color whenever we score a headshot or a weak spot hit. We also get a unique reticle display indicating that the Deadeye buff is active. Around the Deadeye perk, we get bonuses like damage boost from the perk Long Shot. With this perk, we completely eliminate fall-off damage with our guns, which is very significant for our sniper rifles. Another one is with California Reaper, which restores stamina by 30% for every kill via headshot or weak spot. And with High Noon, which will give a 35% boost to reload speed for the next reload after a headshot or weak spot kill, with a little bonus of a 50% time dilation during reload. Though I would only recommend grabbing this perk if you prefer a more of a shoot and reload playstyle with your sniper rifles. Ideally, you always want to constantly activate the time slowdown by reloading after every shot, regardless of what sniper rifle you're using, to have more control of the battlefield during an encounter. Then up over here is the capstone perk Nerves of Tungsten Steel to guarantee critical hits for headshots and weak spot hits whenever Deadeye is active, with a damage bonus based on distance to boot. It's simple but a pretty big deal, definitely worth grabbing. So let's do a rundown of all the benefits that we will be getting with all of these perks active. Say you're about to engage with a group of enemies with your sniper rifle. Right from the get-go, we have Deadeye active due to our stamina being above 85%, and also as indicated by the yellow reticle, you're getting a bonus of 30% headshot and weak spot damage because of the perk itself, and regardless of distance, you'll be dealing damage in full thanks to long shot. You start aiming down the sights and you'll enter focus mode, which will give you 10% more headshot and weak spot damage, and your stamina locks up. This will keep your stamina from getting consumed while shooting, so long as you stay aimed down the sights. You'll also notice the time slow down for a bit to give yourself a steadier shot, all thanks to deep breath. Remember that you have a 2.5 second duration while in this mode, so better make the most out of it. When you're about to take a shot, always go for the head or the weak spot. Nerves of tungsten steel will always guarantee a critical hit and additional damage boost based on distance. After neutralizing a target with a headshot/weak spot and still aim down the sights, head to head will reset the duration of focus. No sweat will reduce the stamina cost of focus by 50% after ending it. You restore 30% stamina thanks to California Reaper, you get a stack of rinse and reload, and High Noon is active. You get another headshot weak spot kill while aimed down, that's another stack of rinse and reload. Focus mode duration is reset again, and another 50% stamina cost reduction for focus from no sweat. Then you get another headshot weak spot kill. When you exit aim down sights for reload, you then exit focus mode. Rinse and reload provides a total of 20% reload speed boost for 2 stacks, and then an additional 35% reload speed boost and 50% time dilation due to High Noon. And look at that, full stamina thanks to all the cost reduction from no sweat and the ones restored from California Reaper. For the middle tree, we only need ninjutsu to enable crouch sprinting. There's gonna be a lot of instances where we may want to stealth, and with the ability to sprint while crouching would provide a very huge benefit to our stealthing. So, take feline footwork here at the bottom to make ninjutsu available, then max it out to unlock crouch sprinting. Keep in mind though that unlike regular sprinting, crouch sprinting consumes stamina. Now that we're done with the primary attributes, let's move on to technical ability, where we get to improve health item usage, cyberware, and tech weapon capabilities. The perks that we'll be grabbing from the left tree in tech will simply develop our health item usage by improving recharge and adding an additional charge. The way health items work since patch 2.0 is that we can only use, at default, 2 at a time, and there's a recharge time before being able to use 1 again. So let's take Health Freak to add 1 additional charge. Now we can use 3 at a time. And to improve recharge time, the same perk will speed it up by 8% and then 150% outside of combat. To further improve recharge speed, make sure to grab Glutton for War. Health items that are currently charging get an instant 5% recharge whenever we kill an enemy. For the middle tree, we aim to increase cyberware capacity, unlock a few cyberware slots, and improve stats overall. Let's take all things cyber to get a small boost to cyberware stat modifiers and reduce capacity cost for the integumentary system and skeleton cyberware. License to Chrome to get another modifier boost, some armor, and an additional cyberware slot for the skeleton. And then Chrome Constitution to get a bit of damage reduction if we fill all slots for the integumentary system and skeleton cyberware. Now you may notice that these perks are tied to the integumentary system and skeleton cyberware because they simply improve armor, damage resistance, and overall defense. Then let's take Renaissance Punk for more cyberware capacity. We'll grab Driver Update to get 1 more modifier stat on all our cyberware. And then Chipware Connoisseur whenever we're at the Ripper dock. It allows us to choose from up to 3 stat modifier options upon upgrading a piece of cyberware. We'll be having prioritized stats to aid our sniping, so this perk would be a big help for optimization. Remember to refund the perk as soon as you finish upgrading at the Ripper dock. Over at the right tree, a few perks here to further improve our sniper rifles that are tech weapons, one of which is Bolt, which will enable a couple of buffs to a well-timed shot that was released before the gun fully charges, kind of like a skill check, and it can potentially deal more damage than a regular full charge shot. When you charge your shot, you get a visual cue that will appear on your sniper scope that says release, and a distinct audio cue indicating that now is a good time to release the shot. When you shoot during that window, you cause a bolt shot. Bolt shots count as fully charged shots. It deals 30% additional damage, and the damage penalty when you shoot through cover is reduced by 50%. And to further improve Bolt, it's important to take shock value to make our bolt shots completely ignore armor. How about that? And for the other perks surrounding Bolt, they're all pretty good and convenient improvements to charging shots and to Bolt itself. And if you have perk points to spare, you may grab these perks as you please. For reflexes, again, we only need Dash. Take Slippery here at the bottom and then max out Dash to replace the dodge maneuver with dashing. Finally, for the body attribute, we only need a couple of health regen perks here to improve survivability. Take Painkiller to enable the ability to regenerate health while in combat, and then Combat Kid to increase health regen rate based on missing health. You get a stacking buff here beside the health bar, showing how much health regen rate you are accumulating. For those who have the Phantom Liberty expansion, we'll be able to acquire just a single perk to make our V even stronger. We'll take Edge Runner to allow us to exceed our cyberware capacity and be able to install some high-capacity cyberware that we wouldn't be able to take advantage of without the perk. The Fury buff is a nice touch as well. As for which cyberware, we're going to be talking about them later in the video. But for now, let's talk about guns. When it comes to our weapons of choice, we have a number of sniper rifles to choose from and ranges across the 3 weapon types, namely Power, Tech, and Smart. Our preference would depend on the progress of our playthrough, so that means whatever cyberware or perks that we have running at certain times, we'll match those with sniper rifles that I will recommend. Also, we'll be avoiding sniper rifles that would hinder our mobility by reducing movement speed and jump height, and rifles that would outright disable sprinting and dashing. So, first on the line is the Nekomata, which you'll be sticking by until the very end of your playthrough. One of the better sniper rifles, mainly due to its simplicity and ease of use. No need to cock for every shot, no movement penalty, decent fire rate, moddable, easily accessible even at the earliest part of the game, all the while having a very good burst damage that can easily one-shot most enemies. And since it's a tech weapon, you can charge a shot to deal more damage. You can get yourself one from pretty much everywhere, from containers and enemies to gun vendors where they are available. You may buy one from the Kabuki Market gun vendor starting at level 6. Next up is the Ashura Smart Sniper Rifle. Earlier, I've talked about a few perks that would benefit smart weapons significantly, one of which is by taking advantage of the Overclock ability. With the perk Smart Synergy, when we activate Overclock, the lock-on time is instant, which is exactly why we'll include this gun to our arsenal. Even at any point in our playthrough where we won't have Smart Synergy yet, this gun can still decimate enemies so long as we time our shots right. Always keep in mind that the lock-on time is at 1.35 seconds before any lock-on speed bonuses. And once you fire, the rocket will home in to wherever body part you set the target to. When you aim, the target lock will be set to the target's head or weak spot. A good indication on when to pull the trigger is when the target lock shifts into a full diamond and a little while after it flashes. Any trigger pulled before the target lock fully sets will cause a miss. The sniper rifle also fires only 1 round per mag, so you'll find yourself reloading after every shot. So it's really important to grab Acquisition Specialist to keep the target lock uninterrupted even during a reload. The Ashura is a world drop loot, but you may buy yourself one from the same Kabuki Market gun vendor starting at level 6. Though I wouldn't recommend using this one, not until you get Acquisition Specialist. Moving on to the iconics, let's start with the Overwatch. It is the only sniper rifle in the game that has a silencer attached to it, so obviously this is essential when stealthing. This variant of the Tektronika Grad doesn't come with the movement penalty modifier that the regular variant has, but at the cost of less damage. This weapon shines brighter when paired with the Sonic Shock Quick Hack, where you can completely wipe out the entire room of enemies without alerting anyone. Make sure that you upload Sonic Shock to your target and their allies nearby. Then start picking them off one by one. This gun is rewarded to you by Pan Am after the mission Riders on the Storm. The Breakthrough is an iconic variant of the Nekomata. Right off the bat, this gun boasts a 100% armor penetration, but aside from that, this iconic sniper rifle has a unique ability to penetrate through cover without being charged, where it will then ricochet afterwards. So naturally, this will eventually replace our Nekomata for a long while, mainly because of the armor penetration stat and for the quick wall piercing. Keep in mind though that the damage penalty still applies when you hit enemies through the wall. But nonetheless, this will be our go-to sniper rifle at a certain point in our playthrough, specifically when we acquire its crafting spec at a suspected organized crime activity over here in Rancho Coronado. With the introduction of new weapon mods in patch 2.0, we can elevate regular variants of guns to have unique abilities that can match their iconic counterparts. Once you attach a mod to a weapon, that weapon mod would now be irreplaceable. You won't be able to detach them and transfer to another weapon like before. A lot of looted weapons have mods that are attached to them, rendering them undesirable. So ideally, you want to pick up weapons that have empty mod slots. Thankfully, most useful weapon mods can be bought from gun vendors, and they're upgradable with the only materials required being their own copies. Keep in mind though that mods can only be attached to weapons that match the or have better quality. So a tier 5 mod cannot be attached to a tier 4 weapon or lower. It has to be tier 5 as well or better. 3 guns that are looted from the open world may roll with 2 empty mod slots, which is crazy. What's even crazier is that weapon mods are stackable. So if you have, let's say, the Gambitier mod, which provides 25% armor penetration to smart weapons, stacking 2 of this mod will double that stat and will reflect on the card. Now there's 3 weapon mods that I recommend for our sniper rifles, one of which is a simple damage boost against high threat enemies. The Equalizer is as simple as it gets. High threat targets are enemies that have a skull icon above their health. The mod can be inserted to any ranged weapon, but generally it's ideal to have a mod that would boost your damage output against any enemy. So the Gambitier, which is a weapon mod exclusive to smart weapons and thus very beneficial to the Ashura sniper rifle, this mod boosts a smart gun's bullet velocity and armor penetration, which is a big deal, but at the cost of homing effectiveness. Now the homing effectiveness penalty may seem a pretty big trade-off, but we have perks like precision subroutines and smart synergy to counter that. Again, you may stack 2 of these, and by attaching 2 tier 5s of this mod will provide your smart gun with a juicy 50% armor penetration boost. Another mod that you may want to use is the Head Tall, which provides an accumulating collection of buffs for every headshot kill. The number of buffs you get will depend on the quality of the mod and the headshot kill streaks that you do. With the highest quality being tier 5, you get up to 5 bonuses, but of course you would need to get a total streak of 5 headshot kills. And for every one of those kills, the buffs would last for 8 seconds, and you also have that time to get your next headshot elimination. The 8-second window may seem short, but trust me, if you're in a situation where there are multiple enemies around and that you are using the Ashura with a smart synergy perk, once you activate overclock, picking your targets off would breeze you through getting that 5 streak buff in no time. Of course, you may also attach this mod into your non-smart sniper rifles if you feel like you're skillful enough to get max streaks without the assist of homing bullets. Another good thing about the mod is that you may stack 2 of these and thus provide double the bonuses of the buffs. Having the tier 5 Head Tall, the bonuses that you get from the first kill up to your 5 streak respectively are 15% fire rate, 15% reload speed, 15% movement speed, 25% to both crit chance and crit damage, and 10% health restoration. Now for clothing, stat-wise, we don't really benefit from most of the clothing items in the game. Since patch 2.0, clothing items are now mostly for fashion. However, there are a few that give inherent bonuses that are exclusive to that type of clothing, and the higher the quality of that clothing, the higher the bonus will be. Keep an eye out for outer torso clothing that has the tactical flavor on it, clothing such as tactical harnesses or tactical vests. These clothing pieces give reload time reduction bonuses, and it will significantly benefit our sniper rifles. You may find a couple of these from the clothing vendor at Wellsprings. Another piece to go for are BD reeds and info visors, as they give quick hack upload time reduction. Very useful for our quick hacks, especially at their highest quality. You may easily find them from quick hack vendors. For Dogtown exclusives, there's a couple of iconic sniper rifles that I would like to recommend, as well as one weapon mod that can make a base variant have its own unique ability. But first, let's quickly go over another Nekomata variant that can only be acquired in Dogtown. This Nekomata is the Barghest variant, a unique gun on its own, but not strictly an iconic weapon, so you won't be able to upgrade it like how you can with the iconics. The stats are different from a regular Nekomata, with a more noticeable trait being that it has better armor penetration but has one less round per mag. You may buy one from the black market vendor at the stadium, who also sells other Barghest variants of other guns found in the game. You may also loot yourself one from airdrops, giving you a possibility of nabbing a T5++ quality with 2 empty mod slots. First up on the Phantom Liberty Iconics list is a variant of the Grot, Sparky. Not advisable to use for long-range sniping due to its low zoom scope, but it's quite useful from at least mid-range. Its unique ability being that once you score a headshot, that shot will emit electric bolts that will chain to nearby enemies. Very effective against enemies that are closely grouped together. Also, unlike its base variant, it doesn't provide any movement penalty. You may acquire the iconic from the Scavenger's Increased Criminal Activity right here. Next up is the Rasetsu, which is its own unique variant. I personally like to use this one from time to time because of how cool looking it is, and also because of its convenient targeting system. It doesn't use a conventional scope, but rather uses your own optics to provide your zoom with a full view. And once you fire a charge shot, that shot can penetrate through your target and will change trajectory towards another direction, potentially hitting or killing multiple enemies. You can acquire this weapon during the Phantom Liberty main mission, You Know My Name, after completing the sniper section. And by attaching one of the most powerful iconic weapon mods, we can turn an ordinary weapon into a level that can only rival the best iconic guns. There's a set of iconic mods that can only be crafted by a single piece of component, and you can acquire that after defeating the Militech Chimera near the conclusion of the first act of Phantom Liberty. Once you rip out the Chimera core, you'll be able to loot it from the ground. You now have a choice among 4 iconic weapon mods for various weapon types. Let's craft the Wall Puncher. It's a mod for tech weapons and one that suits our Nekomata. You may insert it on either a regular variant or a Barghest variant of the Nekomata. One thing to keep in mind is that this mod and the other Chimera mods can be unequipped from a gun, so feel free to re-equip if you find a better quality. The Wall Puncher will turn your Nekomata into a beast, increasing the charge capacity to 200%, but still retains your gun's base charge time, meaning a fully charged shot will deal damage as if you charge way past its original charge capacity. Think of it like an overcharge, but the overcharge can go up to double the capacity. Other than that, the mod automatically grants the gun with 100% armor penetration, and to top it all off, removes any damage penalty when shooting enemies through walls. Pairing the Wall Puncher Nekomata with a ping quick hack, the quick hack reveals enemies behind walls and grants you a clear view of targets ready for picking for a brief time. Feel free to shoot these targets without worrying about damage penalty. And that's it for gear. For the next segment, we'll have more opportunities to make our V even more powerful. Let's move on. Let's preface everything about cyberware with a few things. 1. Like discussed earlier, clothing doesn't provide armor anymore, except for a few specific clothing pieces as an inherent bonus. Most of the armor stats are now provided by cyberware, specifically from skeleton, integumentary system, and legs. It is important to fill up these slots if you want to avoid taking heavy amounts of damage, also by taking perks like License to Chrome, Chrome Constitution, and all things cyber. We get a number of benefits in relation to these categories. Second, the quality of cyberware that are available at the Ripper docks are dependent on your character level. For cyber decks, the number of bonuses you get increases the more you improve the quality. As for the other cyberware, they simply improve their stats based on their function. Now you can upgrade their quality immediately by using components, or you can reach key levels wherein Ripper docks will have better quality cyberware available for purchase. Starting at level 10, Ripper docks will start selling tier 2 cyberware, tier 3 at level 20, tier 4 at level 30, and tier 5 at level 40. Number 3, stat modifiers are big factors when you want to push your character's power even further. By upgrading a cyberware piece, the cyberware will roll from a pool of stat modifiers that will provide various benefits for your V. They may seem small on a single cyberware and that it's kind of a mess, but by rolling and stacking these on all your cyberware, they could potentially make a big difference in general, as long as you know what stat modifiers you want to prioritize. It's very crucial to have the perks Driver Update and Chipware Connoisseur to have a better chance of grabbing the stat modifier you want for your cyberware. For this build, our priority is to get as much reload speed as we can due to sniper rifles having really slow reload speed, and then the headshot damage multiplier stat for obvious reasons. One huge aspect of the build is the quick hacking. So let's talk about the cyber deck that I recommend installing and the various quick hacks that we'll be taking advantage of. Our main cyber deck is the Tetratronic Rippler because it synergizes the most with our quick hack setup. Most of our quick hacking involves using control quick hacks to debuff our targets before we eliminate them with a sniper rifle. At tier 5 quality, uploading a non-combat quick hack to an enemy, in our case, like I said, control quick hacks, will be boosting our damage by 15% to that enemy. We also get a 40% damage boost with combat quick hacks after immediately following it up with a non-combat quick hack in the queue. We get additional max RAM, and whenever you activate overclock with it, it will automatically upload reboot optics and weapon glitch to all enemies within 8 meters. Now, of course, you wouldn't be able to get all of these benefits below tier 5, but the weapon damage boost alone is worth having this all throughout your playthrough. With a tier 5 cyber deck, we have up to 8 quick hacks that we can slot in. Like I said earlier, we'll be utilizing mostly non-combat quick hacks to make our sniping a lot more convenient. Quick hacks that can immobilize enemies for easy targeting, debuffs that can boost damage against enemies, disable their abilities, decrease their accuracy, thus improving survivability, some stealth-focused quick hacks for stealth, and also a couple of combat quick hacks for specific situations. But before we dive in, if you have the Phantom Liberty expansion, quick hacks will have an extra tier beyond tier 5. These are iconic quick hacks which obviously will have better stats. They can be obtained from Netrunner enemies, airdrops in Dogtown, and access points starting at level 51. If you're trying to get yourself one from an access point, you may save in front of it, hack the access point, solve the third sequence, check the quick hack you got, see if it's an iconic. If you got one, good, and if you don't, then just reload and do it again. All quick hacks have their own iconic tiers, and most of each improves a single aspect of their effects. Starting off the list of control quick hacks, Reboot Optics reduces your enemy's accuracy during combat, potentially improving survivability overall. At higher tiers, it completely blinds your target while in stealth. You also inflict a 15% increased headshot weak spot damage debuff to the enemy, and after neutralizing an affected enemy, you restore RAM and then spread the quick hack to the nearest enemy as a bonus. With the iconic tier, you get a plus 30% headshot weak spot damage instead. Next up is Cyberware malfunction. We'll be using this one against those that just flat out abuse Kerenzikov or Zendevistan. This quick hack has a train of various effects depending on the amount of times it gets uploaded to a single target. It stacks up to 8 times at tier 5. A single stack will simply disable enemy cyberware for 10 seconds, but what we're after here is the 5% increased damage buff against the affected enemy. Again, the increased damage buff stacks up to 8 times, so that means by uploading this quick hack 8 times against a target, you get the full plus 40% damage bonus to that enemy. At 2 stacks, you permanently disable cyberware. This includes Kerenzikov and Zendevistan. If you see a goon just zipping around annoyingly or avoiding any of your bullets, you can just simply upload a 2 stack to shut them down for the rest of the fight. With 3 stacks, you start to deal electrical damage over time, where the damage over time itself increases with subsequent stacks. And then at 8 stacks, you nuke the enemy with a massive damage. The iconic tier of this quick hack will have your increased damage buff against an enemy at 15%, which is huge, making the damage bonus at 8 stacks to have a total of plus 120%. A tier 5 weapon glitch has some cool effects like detonating the enemy's primary weapon or disabling smart and tech weapon abilities. Our desired effect, however, for this quick hack is the accuracy debuff that you'll inflict on your enemies, and that's pretty much what we're after here. You get a nice 6% crit chance boost with smart weapons for 10 seconds once you upload the quick hack. This effect stacks up to 5 times. The iconic tier provides a 12% crit chance bonus instead. The cripple movement may be made for melee builds, but this quick hack will provide our build with a couple of benefits to our sniping. One is we can outright stop melee attackers from getting near, and 2, by disabling enemy movement, we get to pick heads off much easier. The iconic tier only affects a melee effect, so getting the quick hack to this tier won't be necessary. Ping isn't as great as before patch 2.0, but we still have ways to make this one useful. The tier 5 effect is still the same, where you can hack highlighted devices through walls. When in stealth, you can survey the area by tagging with the aid of this quick hack. It's possible to tag enemies behind walls as long as they're revealed by ping. Not everyone though, so try to tag as many people as you can before the highlights disappear. Another use for the quick hack is by pairing it with tech weapons. When you use ping on the network, you're then free to shoot enemies behind walls and obstacles with charged or bolt shots. The bonus 25% smart weapon lock-on speed against ping enemies is a nice touch too. The iconic version only increases the duration, but I noticed that it only affects devices, not people. The highlights on pinged enemies persist for a very brief time, so again, make sure to tag or shoot as many targets as you can. Sonic Shock is definitely a must-have for stealthing. It still functions the same, where you cloak the enemies from their allies and disable communication between them. But compared to the Sonic Shock pre-patch 2.0, where you only need ping for the effect to activate to the entire network, the new version at tier 5 would require you to actually upload it target by target. Pairing this with the Overwatch sniper rifle, you can freely shoot enemies without anyone being alerted due to the cloak effect. And if you fail to kill a target with one shot, killing that target will get you out of combat thanks to scrambled comms. Scrambled comms also make you avoid being traced by uploading this quick hack first on the queue before anything else. And during stealth, affected enemies are deafened, making it very hard for them to detect you. The iconic version greatly reduces the RAM cost down to 2. As for the couple of combat quick hacks that we'll be utilizing, one of which is the short circuit. With this quick hack at tier 5, you deal 1 burst damage followed by an electrical damage over time. In addition to that, it's just a really good complementary quick hack to use alongside our control quick hacks because it adds a 3-second duration for any control quick hacks already affecting the target. And the most effective control quick hack to use is Cyberware Malfunction, as it will provide short circuit with an additional 10% damage bonus for each stack of Cyberware Malfunction. And if the enemy has a weak spot, the quick hack combo will cause that weak spot to explode. Assuming you have the Phantom Liberty expansion, the iconic tier of this quick hack will deal plus 25% damage per stack of Cyberware Malfunction instead of the 10% boost. And when you acquire the Relic perk Vulnerability Analytics, where you now have the ability to detect and reveal enemy vulnerabilities, vulnerabilities count as weak spots in which once revealed, you can then upload the Cyber Malfunction Short Circuit combo to cause an explosion. And finally, we'll have Synapse Burnout at tier 5 for the extra easy nuke to quickly dispatch enemies. It deals heavy damage and increases it further based on spent RAM with a damage cap of 400%. And at its iconic tier, the damage bonus and damage cap is even bigger. In addition to all of that, you raise the quick hack's damage by 100% if overclock is active. But we're not really after the massive damage this quick hack brings, we just need to make sure that it can kill enemies, ideally with just a single Q. One of its effects is that it extends overclock by 5 seconds after neutralizing an enemy with this quick hack. You always want overclock active for as long as possible to keep your quick hacks going and for your Ashura sniper rifle to keep insta-locking on your targets. So with all of these quick hacks at your set, here are some Q combos that I usually use against most enemies in general, and some specific types of enemies. Reboot Optics plus Weapon Glitch will severely impair the target's shooting accuracy, making it almost impossible for them to hit you with their guns and thus keep you safe from taking too much damage. Mix in an additional cripple movement to deal with moving targets. Cyberware Malfunction plus Short Circuit when your enemy has a weak spot. Using this combo will cause a blast that would deal area damage. If you have the Relic perk Vulnerability Analytics, you may use this combo once the vulnerability reveals itself. It's also very effective against robots, drones, and even mechs. During stealth, Sonic Shock plus Reboot Optics will deafen and blind your enemies. Having Sonic Shock precede any quick hacks will have you avoid being traced by the enemy. Strategic use of the combo will keep you out of combat if you feel like going through an encounter with full stealth. Cyberware Malfunction times 4 will give 4 stacks to your target, and by doing this again, will bring it to 8 stacks, which will activate the massive burst damage effect to the enemy. But aside from that, you boost your damage against that enemy by 40% with tier 5 and by 120% with the iconic tier. Quite effective against bosses. For a cut down version of the previous combo, you may use Cyber Malfunction times 3 plus Reboot Optics to get the increased damage buff against a target from the 3-stack Cyber Malfunction and as well as the damage buff from the Reboot Optics, all within a single Q. I often use this combo against high threat enemies, usually one-shotting them with my sniper rifle. And for some Synapse Burnout combos, you can get max damage by queuing Cyber Malfunction plus Reboot Optics plus Synapse plus Cyber Malfunction. With Cyber and Reboot being the first two in the queue will provide you the damage buff, and as Synapse fully uploads with Cyber right after in the queue, you get more damage boost due to one of your Cyber Dex effects. If you want to be more efficient, you can simply queue Cyber plus Synapse plus Cyber, where you spend less RAM and usually enough to take down enemies that are below high threat. And those are the combos that I routinely use. If you have more in mind, do let me know what other powerful combination of quick hacks that you usually use from time to time. It doesn't necessarily have to be for the build, I'm just curious to know what other people have been using. Now let's move on to the rest of the cyberware. When choosing what cyberware to install, 1. We need to synergize our cyberware's effect with our build. 2. We need to boost armor for as much as we can. And 3. We need to mine the attunement to further improve our stats. Our primary attributes are intelligence and cool, wherein intelligence attunement for most cyberware doesn't necessarily give amazing bonuses, but since we have max cool, most of the cyberware tuned with cool have the headshot damage multiplier bonus. So obviously we're going to be going for those cyberware. cool attuned cyberware include Kiroshi Clairvoyant, Shock Absorber, Tyrosine Injector, Adrenaline Converter, Atomic Sensors, Range Guard. To balance out all the headshot damage boosting cyberware with defensive stats, we'll get our armor up as much as we can. Install the Parabellum, which also provides percentage armor, Bionic Joints for more raw armor, Universal Booster, in which, aside from its high armor, gives armor and stamina buffs whenever you use health items, and Carapace to protect yourself from flank attacks. To further improve survivability, there's a number of cyberware that can constantly keep us from being flatlined. Let's go for the Bio Blood combo. The Blood Pump replaces your health item with a quick use health charge that insta-restores your health and then over time. The Bio Monitor will keep your health in check by using your blood pump automatically when your health drops below 35%. This is useful during overclock to be able to hack enemies without needing to use your health item while queuing your quick hacks. Also, it's convenient to just focus on the battle instead of keeping track of your health and when to heal up. With a Sublimation perk, the healing and RAM regen along with its bonuses will go along together when you activate overclock. And for more healing, we'll install Heal on Kill to restore health whenever we neutralize an enemy. Now, aside from your Tetratronic Rippler, there's a few more cyberware that we need to have to aid in our sniping and quick hacking. So of course, we need Smart Link to enable smart targeting and smart weapons, a very important piece of cyberware for our Ashra. Luckily enough, it's an intelligence-attuned cyberware and it gives additional max RAM. Also at tier 5 and above, it boosts crit damage by 15% with smart weapons. To get more RAM recovery rate, RAM Upgrade provides exactly just that, and more max RAM to boot. Combining that with X-Disc, which not only gives more max RAM, but boosts your quick hack upload speed as well. When you have the Phantom Liberty expansion and have enough cyberware capacity, including additional capacity with Edge Runner, let's try out a couple of iconic cyberware. We'll be using the Axolotl, which has the ability to restore cyberware charge after neutralizing an enemy. Now, the card may say cooldown and may simply imply that it only reduces the cooldown after use, but instead, it also works when any cyberware ability is active, as it extends its duration whenever you eliminate a target, and by killing more enemies in quick succession makes the ability last indefinitely. Obviously, this works very well with overclock, especially alongside the Synapse Burnout quick hack. You may get this iconic cyberware once you complete all of the gigs in Watson. Regina Jones will send the reward to your stash. Alternatively, it's available at any river dock in Dogtown. Then go through the entire main story of the expansion and make sure to side with Songbird during a critical moment in the mission Firestarter. After finishing the main story and waiting for a few days, you'll unlock a couple of post-story side missions which will eventually lead you to acquiring another iconic cyberware located at Songbird's hideout. The Quantum Tuner acts like a cooldown battery for your cyberware abilities. Once an ability's duration expires, in our case the overclock, the ability will be ready to use immediately afterwards, consuming a certain amount of charge from the Quantum Tuner. The charge only refills outside of combat. And that's it for quick hacks and cyberware. For the next segment, let's talk strategy and various progression tips. Getting to level 50, 60 with the expansion will often be a struggle for any build, and this build is no exception. So for this segment, we're going to be going through the leveling process from the early game up until the finalization of our build. As soon as you're able to explore Watson, a good way to get some free experience is to finish a couple of easy main missions. These quests are the Ride, where you ride with Dex briefing us about an upcoming heist, and the Information, a setup quest where we scan some brain dance scrolled by Evelyn Parker. As soon as you get your free XP, you're now free to pursue any gigs or NCPD hustles. For your starting gear and quick hacks, make sure you have Reboot Optics and Overheat equipped, and as for your guns, if you don't have one yet, craft yourself a Unity. This will be your gun for now until you level your V to 6. During an encounter, prioritize stealth above all, take advantage of the environment by using Distract Enemy, Stealth Takedown whenever possible, and during combat, upload Reboot Optics plus Overheat when you can to aid your gunplay. Feel free to clear more hustles and earn some money if you want, but as you reach at least level 6, you may head to the Kabuki Market gun vendor and try to get yourself a tier 2 Nekomata, or at the very least a tier 2 Grodd along with a fleet shot to get rid of the movement penalty. Keep advancing time by 24 hours until the sniper rifles become available from the vendor's stock. Don't go full sniper yet, but instead use it along with your pistol. Make sure to hack into every access point you see, as they are good sources for getting quick hacks and quick hack crafting specs. Always solve the third sequence, and before you know it, you'll have a bunch of quick hacks ready to use. If you still haven't gotten the ones you need, you can always buy them from the quick hack vendor, and if you need to craft a quick hack, you can buy components as well. Now, it's really tempting to move on with the story, but I really recommend to take it slow and try to clear all Watson gigs and NCPD hustles before moving on to the second act. Once you complete all of Regina's gigs, she will reward you with the iconic Cyberware axolotl. Now, you may try to fit this in your Cyberware setup. In turn, you won't be able to fill up some slots, thus miss out on some headshot damage multiplier and armor. When dealing against Royce during the mission The Pickup, once you enter the boss area, upload the Cyber Malfunction plus Short Circuit combo to detonate the exoskeleton's weak spot, thus disabling its shield. You can then upload a combination of control quick hacks, scoring headshots along the way. As soon as you start the second act, your first agenda should be to find all the perk shards all over Night City only. Also keep in mind that the new skill system will also provide you with up to 5 more perk points when you reach level 35 for each of the skill progressions. Consistently land headshots, upload quick hacks, shoot with charged tech weapons, and even traverse the city by dashing and jumping. You'll naturally level up these skills and earn the extra perk points in no time. If you have the Phantom Liberty expansion, you'll enjoy an endless amount of skill shards by completing airdrop opportunities and vehicle contracts. Any encounters you face in Night City are always possible to complete due to the new system where enemies scale to your level, but not just the enemies, but also the world as well. Vendor stocks change as you level up your character, so your level is pretty much a good indication on when to upgrade your weapons, cyberware, and maybe even your quick hacks. So keep in mind these key levels, then update your stuff whenever you can. Continue to level up your V by doing gigs and hustles, then at some point in the story, you'll be facing off against Oda, and he can be a little tricky to fight, especially with our setup. He likes to close in and slash you with his mantis blades, and if he can't reach you, he'll pull out his rocket shooter and decimate you with like 1,000,000 bullets to your face. Your biomonitor won't even be fast enough to save you because of how stupid fast the bullets are. Now, before the mission, play it safe. Be sure to have your Tetatronic Ribbler at tier 5 to have that special effect where you cast Reboot Optics plus Weapon Glitch to nearby enemies when you activate Overclock, and to also have at least tier 3 quick hacks. Fast forward to the Oda fight. As soon as he enters the arena, cast Cyberware Malfunction plus Short Circuit to break Oda's mask. His mask is considered a weak spot, and by destroying it will allow you to deal headshots without any damage penalty. You'll know that it broke when Oda gets knocked down to the ground. Activate Overclock near him to immediately cast Reboot Optics plus Weapon Glitch, and as he gets up, upload Cripple movement to lock Oda in place, then just spam Cyberware Malfunction to deal more damage against him. Move to a sniping distance, shoot, and continue to do so until he's eliminated. You may upload more Cyber Malfunction while you're at it. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching and following along. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope that you'll enjoy your playthrough with this build. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to stay tuned for more build videos for Cyberpunk 2.0 and Phantom Liberty, and as well as other games in the future. I'll see you chooms on the next one.